Angry guy here, and women are shocked. Companies won't hire them, and men don't trust them. So, why are we talking about this subject? There's actually a couple different things we want to look at today. We're going to jump into them. So, let's go ahead and jump right in now. Woman makes PSA about a dangerous line in the Barbie movie that most people missed, right? So, I'm not going to read every single word of this, I don't think, because it doesn't make any sense to me. The new Barbie movie is sweeping the nation with its catchy tunes and bold colors, but there is more than meets the eye because this movie is bursting at the seams with hidden messages and references. One watch won't do justice. You're going to need multiple reruns to catch all those little nuggets of wisdom and wit the movie is dishing out. Now, just to be very clear, the Barbie movie is on the path of making $1 billion, well over $1 billion. Like it may exceed Top Gun revenue, maybe 1.5 billion. Okay, so you've got a lot of women going to watch it, and a lot of Gen Z men going to watch it, which also says something about Gen Z. But again, we're not focusing on Gen Z here. Okay, we already know what Gen Z is about. Okay, the Antichrist generation. So we're not going to focus on them. But the movie is rippled with some really crazy references. The big reference that we should really be taking a look at is what women are being told. What women are being told when they watch this movie. Because there's a strong message in there. And they're basically being told that they should never say thank you. For starters, this movie is seriously flexing its feminist muscles. We're talking about powerful messages that are geared to inspire the young and old, boys and girls alike. These subliminal signals. Notice, guys, subliminal signals, exactly what they're calling them, because it's mind control and brainwashing. And of course, you have to watch it multiple times so that the mind control and the brainwashing really set in. These subliminal signals pop up during the movie when you least expect them, and boy, do they pack a punch. Enter Brittany Garcia Dumas over on TikTok. This sharp-eyed fan is pointing out one particular line that she noticed. Brittany highlights a part at the beginning of the film where, upon receiving their awards, the Barbies ditch the conventional thank you. Instead, they declare, I worked really hard for this and I deserve it. This statement was so powerful for Garcia Dumas that she goes on to add, and it will truly make you feel like you can walk through a wall. The plot twist. Later, the Barbies are brainwashed by Ken into forgetting that they ever won the awards. But it wasn't all fun and games for Garcia Dumas, who runs a marketing company focused on marginalized groups. When she first heard that line, she was a bit stumped and even a bit offended. Where was the thank you? Then the proverbial light bulb went off in her head. She realized, wait a minute. We don't have to say thank you. I do work hard for this, and I do deserve it. Hard work equals deserved success, period. She continued, I caught myself experiencing my own internalized disempowerment and misogyny. If I'm committed to being a part of the solution, I need to make sure I'm identifying where my own processes could use some empowerment. Basically, what women are being told and taught now is they should never say thank you to anyone, especially to those who helped them to get to where they are today. Don't think so. If you receive a promotion, don't thank your managers, don't thank your bosses, thank yourself, because you did it all on your own. Don't thank your mentors. You earned it entirely. It was all you. This level of narcissism is absolutely unbelievable, but it is believable when you consider where modern day society has gone. At one time, it was common for women to write thank you notes, people in general to write thank you notes after they saw an employer. They went to an employer and they would write a thank you note. And there were a lot of people who really liked receiving these thank you notes. Personally, I never did it, and I'll never do it. But it's amazing how far women have come or regressed, where they now believe that they should not say thank you for anything. This is unbelievable. I this is the Barbie movie. All right. So you get through, you get through college or whatever, and the people who helped you don't say thank you to your professors, don't say thank you to your deans, don't say thank you to anyone. Thank your own damn self. At your job, you get a promotion. Don't thank anyone, only thank yourself. Don't thank the people who opened the door for you. Only thank yourself because you earned it. You go, girl. This is wow. And as they said, these are subliminal messages. What are subliminal messages used for? To brainwash people. They even pointed out the movie needs to be watched multiple times so that it'll really sink in. These are subliminal signals that are scattered throughout the movie. And then people are shocked. Women are shocked when they discover that no one wants to hire them anymore. Zetapal points out entitled culture. It absolutely is entitled culture. 100% entitled culture. And it's only going to continue getting worse. Oh my goodness, guys, I want to show you some articles from prior years because this is crazy. You know, what's really intriguing is that back in 2018, at the height of the M2 movement, right? Women basically said that everything is going to be okay. All right? It's not going to have any impact on us. It's not going to create any problems for us. Okay? Reality check why M2 will not stop men from hiring women. Okay? This was back in 2018. Back in 2018, they came to this conclusion that they can say and do whatever they wanted to, and as a relationship between men and women would be just fine. Let's check this out. Reality check why M2 will not stop men from hiring women. Warnings that females will be shut out of employment if they seek justice, carry an undercut of misogyny. And this was written by Lynn Stewart. This came out on May 15, 2018. As the M2 movement marches on with no signs of slowing, the air is filled with warnings that men will react by refusing to hire and promote women. At a seminar in California in March, self-help tycoon Tony Robbins argued that efforts to challenge sexual harassment would only end in punishing women. He offered an anecdote about a very famous man, a very powerful man, who passed over a female job candidate despite her superior qualifications because her attractiveness made her too big a risk. Robbins cautioned a dozen men had told him the same story. After a video compilation of his remarks posted by Now This News went viral, he apologized, admitting, "It is clear that I still have much to learn." In other words, he became scared because he didn't want to be canceled. Well, guess what? Here's what ended up happening. That was back in 2018. This is 5 years later now. 5 years later, after M2. What's happened since then? How has the world changed since then? I want you to check this out. All right. Later in 2018 of that year, later in 2018, all right, the same year where M2 was running wild, Amazon scrapped secret AI recruiting tool that showed bias against women. Guys, AI is taking over right now. And the way AI works is that AI is supposed to produce the best results. AI is supposed to determine who will make you the most money. Okay? It's ruthless. And even if you program AI to be biased in the sense of like promoting gender equality, when it comes down to money and who has the best productivity, AI is going to choose men. This is what we're seeing back all the way back in 2018, before we had the level of AI that we have right now. Right? They recruit Amazon's machine learning specialists uncovered a big problem. Their new recruiting engine did not like women. The team had been building computer programs since 2014 to review job applicants' resumes, and with the aim of mechanizing the search for top talent. 5 people familiar with the effort told Reuters, automation has been key to Amazon's e-commerce dominance, be it inside warehouses or driving pricing decisions. The company's experimental hiring tool used artificial intelligence to give job candidates scores ranging from 1 to 5 stars, much like shoppers rates products on Amazon. Some of the people said everyone wanted this holy grail. One of the people said they literally wanted it to be an engine where I'm going to give you 100 resumes. It will spit out the top 5 and we'll hire those people. But by 2015, the company realized its new system was not rating candidates for software developer jobs and other technical posts in a gender neutral way. Gender neutral? That's because Amazon's computer models were trained to vet applicants by observing patterns and resumes submitted to the company over a 10-year period. Most came from men, a reflection of male dominance across the tech industry. What it really did, guys, is it basically looked at the best resumes, who was best qualified for these jobs. And it found that men were predominantly best qualified for these jobs based on the resumes. See, they have to literally mess with them. They literally had to scrap the AI, because the AI was saying, oh, yeah, well, we're just going to hire women then because these are the best candidates. We're just going to hire men, correction, because these are the best candidates for the jobs. All right. And if you think this is just one of these examples, oh no, it's continuing to grow with each and every single day. The problems for women in the workforce continue to grow. All right. Women are actually facing some levels of discrimination. They absolutely are. They are actually facing some levels of discrimination right now in various industries. All right. There are a number of industries where they literally refuse to hire women. Some companies, correction. $2.5 million lawsuit highlights how discrimination plagues the construction industry. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission obtained a default judgment in U.S. District Court in a lawsuit against staff agency Green Jobs Work, LLC in Hanover, for allegedly refusing to hire female workers for demolition and labor positions and refusing to give female workers certain tasks because of their sex. Okay? The company was directed to pay a total of $2.6 million in monetary relief to 48 female workers. This includes $665,566 in lost wages with interest and an additional $2,026,698 in punitive damages for the company's reckless indifference to the rights of those workers per EEOC. However, Green Job Works has no employees and is no longer in operation, according to case filings, according to SHRM Online. Oh, this is hilarious. The likelihood of recovering those funds appears to be low. Yeah, so this is kind of hilarious. They sued and they were awarded all of this money. And I thought about it like, why didn't the company, send anyone to defend themselves? And that's because the company is now defunct. So they're not going to get anything. The company's gone. This is really mostly just symbolic. The people who ran the company, they're shielded from any liability, additional liability. It's just it's not going to work out. The women who are suing, they're not going to get anything out of this. Sue away, ladies. Sue away. It's not gonna do anything for you. You're not getting anything. And here's the interesting thing. Here's where things continue to get even more interesting. All right, because a year after the whole M2 thing, that article that I showed to you guys, we literally saw something quite surprising, and it shouldn't be that surprising. Women are 30% less likely to be considered for a hiring process than men. This was a year after the articles that I read to you, March 26, 2019. So a year after that, 30% women were now 30% likely, all right, to be considered for a hiring process, to even be considered for hiring 1 year after M2. All right. Think about that very, very carefully. Women are on average 30% less likely to be called for a job interview than men with the same characteristics. In addition, gender bias is higher for candidates with lower qualifications than those who have knowledge of an additional language and more work experience. Okay? Think about this very, very carefully, guys. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse from here. It's only going to get worse from here. You know, and there's a lot of companies right now, after what's happened, they're literally saying they're refusing to hire, and they're in response, they're just paying money out. They're like, okay, they're being taken to court, and they refuse to hire. They absolutely refuse to hire. Let's jump into another one, because I really like this article for this company who has refused to hire for this refused to hire. It says women since like 1986. You know, the reason why this is happening. A lot of companies that are predominantly male, are only male. They know what's going to happen if they bring women in to the environment, and they expose these men to lawsuits. You will have men dropping out of these industries, and they don't want that. Trucking company pays 1.25 million to settle allegations and refuse to hire women. EOC has previously targeted employees that allegedly refuse to hire women or segregate roles by sex, often resulting in large settlements. R&L Carriers, an Ohio-based trucking company that operates nationwide, will pay 1.25 million to a class of female applicants to settle U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission allegations that it discriminated against women in hiring for at least 7 years, from 2010 to 2017. In the August 2017 complaint, although a few women were hired as loaders, most female applicants were rejected or steered to different positions because of their sex. EOC, in an April 25th press release, expanded on the situation. Applicants and other witnesses stated they were told R&L Carriers did not hire women for loader positions. The alleged discriminatory conduct resulted in a large difference in the percentage of female applicants who were hired compared to male applicants who were hired. Guys, I told you nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And now you have women telling other women, don't even say thank you. Do not say thank you to the people who helped you to get to where you are. Don't do it. Don't do it, ladies. You are the prize. You earned it all, babe. You did it all on your own. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications to never miss another video again, and like the video, because it tells YouTube you're enjoying the content. You want to see more of it, so YouTube will show you more of it. But this is the state of things. This is the state of society that we are in right now. This is where women's empowerment has put them. Okay? It has put them in a situation where employers are saying it's too risky. It's too risky to hire them. And the fact of the matter is that now you have companies saying that Gen Z is easy and that they have to manage them. They have to manage them at all times to have them do work, right? What this should really tell you, what this should really tell you, and this should illustrate to you is that the future for even younger women coming into the workforce is going to be even more difficult. It's going to be even worse. All right. Let's look at the article. Gen Z workers are lazy, some bosses say. They don't do anything unless every second of their day is managed. Every second. Take that into consideration. Some Gen Z employees aren't sure how to interact in person after starting their careers from home. Lazy youngsters, lazy younger workers need a lot of hand holding, managers told the Wall Street Journal. They're not looking to be productive, one manager told the Journal. In wake of a global turnoff, young professionals are entering the workforce having taken at least a semester of their college education online. What the heck? This is crazy. The lack of hands on learning might have left Gen Zers lazy or clueless when it comes to completing basic tasks on the job. Guys, basic task, said some managers told the Wall Street Journal in a report this week. They're not looking to be productive. Laura Davis, this is a woman, a director at the John Ball. Okay, a director at the John Ball Zoo. This is at the zoo, told the Journal. If they're not told what to do, if someone isn't managing every second and keeping them busy, their inclination is not to self identify what they can do, it's to do nothing. Some colleges and companies have opted for training for new graduates who want to learn more about working in the office, as experts suggest they lack soft skills, including lessons on how to compose an email. Guys, how to compose an email. I created a poll asking if Gen Z was less intelligent than previous generations. They cannot compose an email, all right? Including lessons on how to compose an email, how to spark office chit chat, and even how to know what to wear to work. I told you, Gen Z does not like one another. They don't. They're a very standoffish generation. They don't really like speaking to people. All right, and this is a generation that of modern women. Modern women. How do you think they're going to fare if you're in the workforce watching the Barbie movie that tells them don't even be respectful to the people who help you. Just take what's yours. You deserve a raise. Go into your boss's office. Tell them, I deserve a raise. And get your money. This is the reason why we have people working at McDonald's saying they need to make $60,000 a year. They deserve $60,000 a year just to stand around and do nothing sometimes. They have no training, no skills, no training, no skills, nada. And they want to go to McDonald's and make $60,000 a year. You've got to be kidding me. Guys, I'm telling you everything. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. At some point in time, automation will replace the jobs that these people are doing. You know what the future of food delivery looks like? What the future looks like, and I'm telling you right now, It's this, and Amazon is going to take full advantage of this. Oh heck yeah. Companies like Amazon, but eventually food delivery is going to change. It's going to become automated. As soon as self-driving cars find their way onto the road, here's how it's going to work. You order a pizza. The car pulls up. You walk out to the curb. You walk up to the car. You scan your phone, or you tap whatever, confirming that you are there. The machine inside the car dispenses your food to you. There's not even a driver in the car. You take your food. It confirms that you have your food. You walk away. The car drives away to make its next order. You never speak to a person. Never have to interact with a person. This completely eliminates the need to leave a tip, and it can significantly reduce the cost of service because they no longer have to pay someone to deliver your meal for you. That's the future. All right? That's going to happen with food. That's going to happen with groceries. A lot of these jobs a lot of the jobs that women do, even as software engineers, they're going to be replaced by AI. A lot of software engineer jobs are going to be replaced by AI, and it won't simply be replaced by AI. It will be people using AI that replace these jobs. Men using AI that replace these jobs. And they can scream and holler discrimination all they want. It won't work. Look at what happened at Facebook. Look at what happened at Google. They started firing people. Look at what happened in Microsoft. They started firing people. They fired thousands of employees at all of these companies. Thousands. In some cases, like tens of thousands of employees. And they didn't give a crap. They threw them out. If you were not performing well enough, you were gone. And there was no gender neutrality in the firing process. If you don't make us money, you are gone. What do you think happened at Twitter? Look at Twitter. Most of the people fired at Twitter were women. They eliminated all of those jobs. All of those jobs. And now we have the whole soft girl era going on, where women think that they're going to go and find a millionaire or a billionaire to hold them down. Guys, I'm telling you, trillionaire is coming. You're going to hear women dropping that trillionaire song eventually. I'm looking for a trillionaire. Looking for a trillionaire. What are you trying to do with a trillionaire? What are you trying to do with a trillionaire? You trying to buy a planet? What are you trying to do with a trillionaire? No, I'm so serious. Because there are billionaires who can buy a country. So what are you trying to do with a trillionaire? You trying to buy a planet? Like this is some levels of insanity. You want a trillionaire? What are you trying to do with a trillionaire? Are you trying to buy a planet now, huh? It's crazy. It's crazy. You're literally gonna hear women talking about every girl should have her own planet just for her, where she can rule over it. Because Earth is a patriarchal, oppressed planet. And we need to expand to the stars and slay in the stars. And these broke boys, they can't even hold up to us. Like literally, it's predicted there's going to be a couple of trillionaires by like 2030. Jeff Bezos will be a trillionaire. Elon Musk will be a trillionaire. The creator of TikTok will be a trillionaire. I don't know for sure, but I think the creator of Louis Vuitton, because he's constantly one of the richest man in the world now, he may become a trillionaire. And there's going to be some others, I believe, who will also be trillionaires in the come 2030. And you're going to have women say they want one of these men. They want a trillionaire. Billionaire isn't good enough. They want a trillionaire. Millionaires are broke boys. They need a trillionaire. Right. Right? Like, bro, you can't even pay your rent. You can't even pay your rent. They just turned your life off. Your lights off. Guys, I said life off. Might as well. They just turned your lights off. All right. And you're out here saying that you want a trillionaire. Sis, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's some real delusion, boo. That's some real delusion. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, sis. Because you're not right. You're not right, sis. You're not right. You need some help, sis. You need some of that psychiatric help, sis. All right? You need some of that Prozac help, sis. You need some of that antipsychotic help, sis. Because you're not right, sis. You're not right. You're missing something, sis. You're missing something, sis. I'm telling you, this is just the state of affairs right now. It absolutely is. It absolutely is just the state of affairs. The level of entitlement is beyond ridiculous. Zenapal says it's a way of blaspheming God. They are in danger of one day getting what they truly deserve, and nobody should want that. It's frightening. That's a good statement. It's absolutely frightening. Let me see here. Slayer Clone says, and why does this affect me? If these people want to be lazy, that's fine. Once I rise to the top, I'm going own. There's a lot. I've had Gen Zers that are like trumpeting, like cheering the downfall of their generation. Like I had one Gen Zer saying that he works at a tech, like an AI company, and he's like, this is going to work out well for him with Gen Z's downfall because he's going to be able to profit off it. I'm telling y'all, it's like it's bad. Y'all think this is a game? You have Gen Zers looking, just literally sitting at waiting to pick one another off. Pick one another off. You have Gen Zers literally out here just waiting to pick one another off. I told y'all, this is a bad generation. It's a bad generation. Inslayer says, I have no sympathy for these women. As a Gen Z man, they deserve everything what's coming to them. With me, with M2, all of that stuff too. Guys, then I told you, Gen Z doesn't even like Gen Z. I told you this already. I get constantly bombarded with Gen Zers who say things like, yeah, I don't care what happens to these people. I don't like them. I'm as bad. They'll even tell me I'm one of them. I have no job. I have no money. I have no future. I'm the type of person that women stay away from. I have never had a girlfriend. I will never have a girlfriend. You're absolutely right about us. Insular Clone says, maybe I won't be at the top, but I will be happy living a comfortable life. Guys, this is a divided generation. When I say divided, I mean like they don't even want to have anything to do with one another. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to, guys, it's only going to get worse. You're going to see women in deep states of poverty and destitution as they begin aging out of the workforce. As they begin saying that they can't work for the rest of their lives. And they're going to try to run to disability. And it's not going to work out for a lot of them. Although it will work out for many of them, because a lot of them are going to say that they're mentally incompetent, and they're going to be found mentally incompetent. A lot of Gen Zers will be found mentally incompetent when they apply for disability. Disability is going to say, yeah, no, you guys, you are mentally incompetent. You weren't even, the military wouldn't take you. So yeah, I mean, if the military wouldn't take you, you're right. You can't, you're not really fit for life. You know, here's your money. You know, your $800 check a month. Good luck with that. I'm telling y'all, it's not a game. It's gonna be it's a hard this is a very hard world to live in. It really is. It really is. This is a hard world to live in. And this world will tear you down if you let it, if you don't stand up to it. But the irony is that there's no resilience in this current generation. There's no resilience in Gen Z. Daniel Reyes, what's going on, Daniel? Let's see here. Daniel says, "Good afternoon, brother. Glad to tune back in again. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. I think you've been with me for quite some time. It's good to see you, Daniel. I'm telling you guys, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing lasts forever. There are a lot of women who took everything for granted. You know, they received so much and they believed that they were entitled to it. They were entitled to everything that they've received. That's why they say men are born rich and women are born rich and die poor, and men are born poor and die rich. Women basically have squandered everything. They've squandered everything that they received. All right? They threw it all away. And now they're finding themselves left with nothing. And they seem to think that someone's going to come and rescue them. And they think that a millionaire is going to rescue them or a billionaire is going to rescue them. The level of delusion is insanity. All right? It is just unbelievable. And it is a problem. It is an absolute problem. I'm telling you right now, it's an absolute problem. And a lot of women just won't wake up. They won't learn. They won't learn from any of it. And they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. Keep guys, 45% of women will be single come 2030. 45%. And even then they think this is a game. All right? They think that this is something that they should be proud of and they should be happy about. And they should be trumpeting this and saying how wonderful it is, because this is a sign that women are prospering and doing even better, because they'll be free. They will be free from responsibilities, free from childcare, and they can live these wonderful lives, just having fun and hanging out with their friends. Let's look at this. All right. By 2030, 45% of women will be single and childless. And I'm not surprised, the Indian point of view. And she says, I'm from India and we have a lot of traditions. Marriage is to date the biggest part of our lives because for our parents, their sole job is to give their children an education and marry them to a proper guy/girl with a good family and then spend their life playing with their grandchildren. I got married at 25 and my grandmother was worried no one will marry me because I'm too old now. My grandfather wanted me to get married at 19 or 20 like my cousins, and no, it's not a gender thing. Most of the male children in my family were also married by the age of 25. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I grew up learning skills like cooking and cleaning, not because they are important to survive, but because this is my job to cook and clean. And I am not being negative in this. So if you think this is about hating men, it's not. It's just how society is. It's changing. I know that. My parents stood by my side when I decided to not get married until I have a job. They respected my choice to marry someone I like, even though it meant they have to listen to every other relative's gossip. They supported every career choice I made, but they taught me how to be a good cook as well as an outstanding employee. My brother was never taught the cooking part or cleaning part. In the society where where I and my female friends were told at age 15 to 16 that we would be married off by the time they get out of college, we survived a single life until the age of 25. Most of my friends are almost 30 now and still unmarried. I am 27 and married, but childless by choice. I want kids, just not now. Guys, I want you to see this. I want you guys to literally look at this. All right? Because a lot of women who decided to go down this path are finding themselves childless and single. And they will never have children. They will never have someone that calls them mommy. That's not going to happen. They're going to be alone. In Slayer Clone says, I mean, the Barbie movie is anti-male shaming propaganda, and any man who supports that movie deserves to suffer also. Here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. This is a Gen Z guys love this movie. They are rushing out to see it. Think about that carefully. And women, it's like this is a cultural movie for women. It's like almost all women unanimously love the Barbie movie. Okay? What does that say about women in American society and how women view men? Because while women hold all these jobs in Barbie land, I never saw it, but I read about it. Ken basically does nothing. Ken is basically a moron in the movie. He's a moron, and he's just a tool of the patriarchy. Ken is a villain, as are all men. That's the Barbie movie. Cage Grant says, angry. I never seen like this since the 60s, 70s, 80s. But today, sad, this Gen Z worst Western woman really out of hands. Don't listen to advice that their ideal leading to non-family future. Gen Z. Gen Z is just, oh my gosh, they're frightening how bad they actually are. Nature Wanderer says password bros will have a cultural effect. Wait until CBDC will come. Guys, you know, it's going to be a cold winter. It's going to be a cold winter. All right? And women, you know, they've been playing this game. They thought that it was funny. They thought that they could do whatever they wanted to do. And they thought that there would be no consequences. That's the truth. They thought that there would be no consequences for the choices that they've made in life. And now they are finding that, oh, wait, there are consequences. There are consequences for my decisions. There are consequences for the choices I've made. And no one's coming to rescue me. No one's going to save me from my bad decisions. Okay? And they can try turning to the government. They can try turning to the government. But guess what? It takes, when you turn to the government, it takes a long time to get any help. Government's not your friend. And women think that the government's their friend. They think that the government's going to come and save them and help them because they're in this together, until they get a rude awakening and they discover that it's not like that. It really isn't. A lot of women are going to say that they were set up. I'm telling you, you're going to see.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the rise of single women. So I've done a lot of videos on my channel, or a handful of videos on my channel, about the rise of lonely single men, because it's something that's been covered by the media extensively. No surprise there. So 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030, which is wild when you think about it. That's almost half of women. So I started doing research for this, and before I get into kind of the the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to point out something that I thought was kind of funny. So I come across this article on Psychology Today called The Rise of Empowered Single Women. And it's a response article to the article about lonely single men. And I just pulled up both of those headlines, both of those, article titles, and I put them next to each other. And I just sat back and I looked at them for a minute. And I'm like, wow. It's kind of crazy that anytime in our society where, a man is single, it's automatically assumed that he's lonely, the rise of lonely single men. It's always men do better, men do this. I did a whole video reacting to that article. If you didn't watch that, be sure to go watch it so you guys can kind of see what I thought about it, because I don't think it's all men's fault, just to long story short here. But then anytime a woman is single nowadays, it's always the opposite. So it's the rise of empowered single women. It's always positioned more as a choice for women of like, oh, they're empowered, they're single, they're choosing to be that way because they're empowered. But for men, it always is painted in a light where it's like incels, or guys who just can't get women, or guys who need to step up and do better and do X, Y, and Z in order to, get one of these empowered single women to like them. And while of course it might be true for, some people, it's definitely not the reality for everyone. There are a lot of men who are happily single and a lot of women who are lonely as well. So I just thought it was kind of interesting how our society, paints men and women who are single in very different lights at this point in time. So if a man is single, it means he's lonely, and if a woman is single, it means she's empowered. Okay, so I wanted to read just a little bit of this article to you, just so you guys can kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about. It says, as a single person in her 30s, a therapist and an author whose work centers around dating and healthy relationships, I am grateful for the culture shift towards healthier relationship standards that Madhouse described in his article. Until recently, modern dating has been imbalanced. Women have been socially programmed to believe their value and worth are conditional and reflected by their relationship status. Media, including dating self-help literature, has played a big part in this, encouraging women to change various aspects of themselves, personality, physical appearance, communication style, to be more desirable to men. Well, there's also a ton of content out there for men that's the same thing. In my work, I've seen this social programming impact women in their pursuit of dating and relationships time and time again, leading many to feel like they must play the game to be successful and find a mate. Of course, this outdated approach often leaves single women feeling hopeless and disempowered. But there's a shift occurring, and it's palpable, and this is not strictly an outcome of the surge of dating app usage. As women have gained more rights and are recognized as mostly equal to men, traditional gender roles and constructs are becoming obsolete. In the past, most women needed men for resources. They needed a provider. Now, with more opportunities, women have more independence and recognize they do not need men in the same way that women did in previous generations. Without such high stakes, women are raising the bar. We are no longer looking for a provider, but a partner in an equitable relationship. We want more. Yeah, and I think this talk of healthy relationships is amazing. I am all about healthy relationships. That's what I do on this channel. I'm all about making dating a little happier and healthier. The article about lonely single men stated that women want men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. And while those three things are yes, yes, and yes, I totally agree, that's not all that women want. And I don't think that we can sit here and lie to ourselves and say that those are the top three things that women are looking for, because those are three things on a checklist of a million other things. Over 6 feet, making 6 figures, or whatever number it is, handsome. A big thing that I think these articles fail to mention is the fact that these are not the only things that women care about, unfortunately. I wish it was. As a woman, I wish I could sit here and say the only 3 things women care about are a guy who is emotionally available, good communicators, and has good values and morals and shares whatever with her. But sadly, those are just 3 things on a checklist of many other things that women are looking for. And if
Let me make this very clear. Women do not want men that sit around crying about their problems all day long. The only reason why a woman wants to know what a man is constantly thinking is because she wants to know if he still cares about her. All right? Women don't like weak men. They don't. When a woman has a weak man and she advocates for weak men, the reason why she's doing that is because she wants to be with a man who allows her to do whatever she wants to do. All right? That's the reason why Destiny is married to this woman who basically is an advocate for having an open relationship. So she goes off and she has a relationship with whoever she wants to. Okay? They're in an open marriage. She can go and be with whatever guy she wants to be with. And Destiny will actually watch as someone is with his wife, and she says that men who don't have the same level of maturity as Destiny are insecure. And a man who does not want to be with a woman who has a high body count, is a man who does not actually like women. Think about that carefully. If you don't want to be with a woman, and she's not the only one, a lot of other women are saying it now. If a man doesn't want to be with a woman who has a high body count, then they don't like women. What? They're insecure little boys. Only little boys. Only little boys and men who are dangerous to women want a woman who doesn't have a high body count. This is the type of insanity that they are spreading right now, because so many of them have lived these lives and they have these high body counts, and now they're faced with the real world, and the real world is saying, yeah, ladies, we don't want to have relationships with a girl who's been with every guy. And what are they doing? Their response, okay, well, we're going to shame you and we will destroy you if you don't love us. If you do not put us on a pedestal. This is all women know. This is the only thing they know how to do, is to attack and destroy. You have these women who are pretending, that are pretending to be feminine women, using the whole soft girl thing, so they can try to manipulate men into providing for them. And they're not looking for guys making $100,000. They're looking for millionaires. They're looking for millionaires who are going to give them their bag and allow them to live easy and comfortable lives, so that they don't have to work. They don't have to do anything. They don't cook. They don't clean. They just lay around all day, go and buy whatever they want, everything, tons of trash. And they're out there advertising for other men. So while you're at while these men are working and making their millions, these women can be out there spending that money on Chad, Tyrone, Ray, and Pookie. They're going to be out there with the Sunshine Gang, hanging out and having fun. Buying Tyrone PlayStation 5 Pro, because that'll be out eventually. All right? Setting him up with a ton of different games and everything. Bringing him KFC. I'm telling y'all. She'd be there loving Chad. Chad's there kissing her. She's there kissing him. She's there telling him how much she loves him. He's not responding because he doesn't love her. All right? And he has another woman to go see right after her, so she needs to wrap it up. It's crazy. Guys, it's crazy out there. It is absolutely crazy out there. All right? And modern women think they're going to run this scam. And they think that it's unstoppable. They think they're unstoppable. They think men are stupid. Simon Lewis says, Ayo, I'd never seen nor plan to see the movie, but I expected that Gen Z as a whole enjoyed the movie. I can understand Gen Z women loving it, but whole Gen Z shaking my head. You have to understand that when it comes to Gen Z men, they don't like responsibility. This is a generation, you ask them, what is a woman? And they get nervous. They start to sweat. Like they start to breathe heavy. A woman is whoever identifies as a woman. What? It's a complex subject. Its gender is complex. There are millions and millions, maybe even billions of different gender expressions. Guys, they've already said that there are millions of different gender expressions. Millions. And eventually it will become billions. Do you all understand that the LGBTQ community is no longer LGBTQ? No. LGBTQ. It is now LGBTQIA2S+. That is, guys, that's what it is now. All right? It is so crazy. Now they've expanded into symbols. Okay? And numbers. Symbols and numbers. Let me repeat that to you again. It's no longer the LGBTQ community or LGBTQ, all right? It is now the LGBTQIA2 plus. That's how insane it is. That's how crazy things have gotten. That's how, and it just keeps on expanding. Never ending. Like, where does this end? The answer is it doesn't. It just keeps going and going and growing and growing. Let's read this right here. In Slayer Clone says, me personally, Password Bros isn't enough since most women have smartphones around the world. So this is just me. South Korea is a feminist country. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Let me jump here. Calvin Rogers says, no, it's guys that just had enough strong, independent women. He'll HUD it better than dating modern women. A lot of dudes are turning to the hub, and I will say the hub is not a good place. The three things are the 666. That's way you get your passport, leave, and never look back or come back. Oh gosh. Okay. Cage Grant says, wow, Manhattan Union Square, a popular YouTube streamer, started Teen Riot in YouTube Square for a giveaway, turned chaotic, and Louisville, Kentucky, hospital dumping patients in street. Yeah, I heard about that. It's crazy. Calvin says this is how the Roman Empire was destroyed. It really is. Women basically got no-fault divorces, began marrying gladiators, unaliving their husbands, all right, running wild. Men stopped marrying. Julius Caesar called the unmarried men in society worse than all the criminals in all of Rome. They were barred from going to the Colosseum. Unmarried men, single men, were barred from going to the Colosseum and other events. So they were not allowed to go and see the movies or have fun. All right, and they were forced to jog during the winter in the streets together to punish them, and they still would not marry. Fast forward 100 years later, Rome no longer has a military, and all of their and all the jobs are being done. The jobs of protecting the country are being done by mercenaries, and eventually they run out of money, and they start offering up land to the mercenaries in exchange for protection. The mercenaries realize that the emperor has no clothes and pillages the entire kingdom, and we fall into darkness. 1,000 years. 1,000 years of darkness. The Dark Ages. Basically, imagine us reverting to almost being cavemen, living in caves and eating squirrel meat. We spend 1,000 years in darkness before math and science are rediscovered. Can you imagine, guys, what the world would be like if we did not experience the Dark Ages? We lost 1,000 years of innovation. 1,000 years of innovation. It's not to say that some forms of math and science did not exist, because they built things like the great cathedrals and so forth, but math and science as a whole vanished. Chemistry, biology, physiology, and anatomy, they all fell into a period of madness and witchcraft. Witchcraft. Okay? This actually happened. And it can happen again. It can absolutely happen again. We are looking at the decline of Western society. Calvin, we can't get Gen Z to enlist in the military. Here's the thing. It's not simply that we can't get them to enlist. I mean, they don't want to enlist, but many of them are not fit to enlist. Okay? Gen Z can't enlist in the military. Gen Z cannot enlist in the military. All right? They're not qualified to be in the military. All right? They are either physically unfit or mentally unfit. All right? It's the honest to goodness truth. I mean, you literally have sites like military.com that says that they can't work with Gen Z. They can't work with Gen Z. Gen Z doesn't want to serve. And then to make it worse, they're finding that these people are unfit. They're completely unfit. They're mentally and physically unfit. They are not mentally sound enough to serve in the military. You have to know that this is a generation that is so bad when they cannot go into the military, where literally they are being found as not eligible. Only a fourth of Gen Z is eligible to serve in the military. Guys, I'm gonna show you this. I want you guys to see this because some of y'all think this is a game. All right, put this on the screen for y'all, so y'all can see this. The U.S. Army is struggling to recruit as most of Gen Z is ineligible to serve due to factors like obesity, drug use, and tattoos. I'll repeat. The U.S. Army is struggling to recruit as most of Gen Z is ineligible to serve, guys. Most of Gen Z. I didn't even know it was this bad. All right? Most of Gen Z is ineligible to serve due to factors like obesity, drug use, and tattoos. The U.S. Army fell 15,000 soldiers short of its recruitment goals this year. Most of Gen Z would be ineligible for military service without a waiver, per a Pentagon study. Obesity, drug use, and mental health are among the most common disqualifiers. They are not mentally fit to serve. They are not physically fit, mentally fit to serve. And then there's also the issue of drug use. And we're not talking about a little weed. The labor shortage continues to plague organizations across the country, and the U.S. Army is not immune. On Friday, military officers, military officials confirmed that the Army came up 25% or 15,000 soldiers short of its recruitment goals for this year. And the other military branches are already behind heading into next year. The reason for these struggles vary. But even if the military was the only employer left calling, there's a reason to believe the mass majority of Gen Z, today's target generation for recruitment, wouldn't even qualify. This is from BusinessInsider.com, a Business Insider. This is a business website, Business Insider. According to a 2020 Pentagon study, first reported on by Military.com, last Friday, 77% of 17 to 24-year-olds were ineligible for military service without a waiver, a 6% increase from the last study in 2017. Guys, 77% of Gen Z, 77% are not eligible. Per the report, the majority of the 77% would not have qualified for multiple reasons, but among those with just one reason: overweight, drug and alcohol abuse. Guys, you have to understand, Gen Z, right? Gen Z, okay? The ages Gen Z are people born 1997 through 2012. So the youngest of Gen Z are 11 right now. There are a ton of Gen Zers who have not even started high school yet. All right? The youngest of the Gen Zers are just now entering elementary. No. Just now entering middle school. The youngest of Gen Z are just now entering middle school. All right? Middle school. A lot of them have not even seen high school yet. A lot of them have not even graduated from high school yet. All right? And 77% of them are unfit. 77%. You think that's going to get any better? You've got to be kidding me. All right? Per the report, the majority of the 77% would not have qualified for multiple reasons, but among those with just one reason, overweight, drug and alcohol abuse, medical, physical health, and mental health were the most prevalent disqualifiers at 11%, 8%, 7%, and 4% respectively. To put it bluntly, I'm worried we are now in the early days of a long-term threat to the all-volunteer force, with a small and declining number of Americans who are eligible and interested in military service, North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis said at an April hearing. Guys, I told you, they're going to start calling up old men. Old men. They're going to start reactivating old men, saying, listen, bro, you're going to have to come back and put in some more time. All right? They're going to start. This is what they do. They'll reactivate you if you are a member of the service, armed service. They'll call you up and say, yeah, bro, you're being reactivated. We need you on that. We need you on those front lines. We need you. You got to come back and serve your country. And there are people that say, nah, dude, I'm retired. I'm out. I'm out of the service. And they're like, listen, you signed the contract, and listen, that's for life. And they're like, what? No, it's not for life. You can't bring me back into this. And you're going to have people just showing up at your doorstep, showing up at the doorsteps of old men, talking about, listen, man, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. All right? And they're going to have a gun. I'm just being real with you. I'm just being real. All right? It's literally going to be millennials, older millennials, and Gen Xers that are going to have to hold down the military. You have a bunch of old men with gray hair. All right? A bunch of old men with gray hair having to hold down the military. If you look at Ukraine right now, it's a bunch of old men with gray hair fighting on the front lines. You don't see any Gen Zers on the front lines. You see virtually none of them. You don't see them fighting for Ukraine. All right? See a bunch of old men with big beer bellies. Bunch of fat old men fighting. And they're doing a good job too. It's crazy. And a lot of y'all don't comprehend. Gen Z are cowards. You think Gen Z they're gonna risk their life? Risk their life? Come on. Gen Z? Gen coward? Generation cowardly? No. Generation cowardly. Gen Zero is not going to risk their life for anyone. All right? Generation cowardly is not about that life. Generation cowardly is not about that life. All right? They want easy lives. They want soft lives because they burn out easily. There's someone who was talking about, well, you could use them as cannon fodder. Y'all ever heard of friendly fire? Y'all ever heard of friendly fire? That's evil, even putting those people over there. All right? So these guys, look at this one who ran across to North Korea. This detractor. He's a detractor. He is a detractor. He betrayed his country. He is a detractor. He is a traitor. He committed treason. He knew exactly what he was doing when he fled into North Korea. He is a reflection, a perfect reflection of Generation Z. and what we are facing, the threat that we are facing with Generation Z. Okay? Gen Z women don't have a good future ahead of them. They absolutely do not have a good future ahead of them. There's a lot, and it's going to have significant. It's going to have significant effects on the country. We're going to have some. It's going to be bad. Cage Grant says, angry, right. Remember, they recalled retired hospital staff after what happened in 2020. It's true. It's true. It's crazy. Joe Jeff says, I'll go back. They need to promote me to sergeant major. I ain't doing nothing. Yo, you think this is a joke, Joe? They gonna show up on your doorstep, man. Talk about, listen, bro, you coming one way or another. All right. That's really, you think it's a game, and then you find they're not gonna send you a letter in the mail. There's gonna be a knock on the door because they know a lot of people are gonna throw those letters. They get a letter in the mail saying you're being reactivated, soldier. No, they know people are gonna throw those letters in the mail. They're not gonna send a letter. They're not gonna send a letter. They're gonna come and they're gonna knock on the door. They're gonna show up and knock on the door. It's gonna be a man with a gun. Zenopal says, you'll be leading a bunch of fairies into battle. Oh my gosh. Laughter is good for the heart, man. Laughter is good for the heart. Laughter is good for the heart. Guys, YouTube's demonetizing these streams. So if you want me to keep doing these streams, show some love, drop a super, whatever. Guys, and it's crazy. Women are shocked companies won't hire them and men don't trust them. And they're just going to keep living. They're going to keep living in their great delusion. They're going to keep living in their delusion. They will not, I repeat, they will not leave their delusion because they are trapped in their delusion. They were born in that delusion. They were raised in that delusion. And they will never stop embracing that delusion. It's true. It's true.
Guy doesn't have the other things also, the woman probably wouldn't give him a chance. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't true, but sadly it is. These are the 10 things women want according to this lady. We want to be treated as equals, okay? We want to feel seen and heard, okay? We want our feelings to be respected and validated. We want to feel safe and supported. We want to share core values with our partners. We want to have the flexibility of having multiple identities instead of being confined to one box, wife, mom, or caregiver. We want to be a part of a conversation regarding negotiating roles and expectations within the relationship. We want to have productive and honest conversations and healthy disagreements. We want to establish mutual trust, and we want to feel emotionally connected to our partners. Okay, all fair asks to me.
I tell you, these demands, they just never end. Shout out to Zetapal for dropping some cash. He says, this is for the Rainbow Division.
But sadly, that's not what a lot of women want when they're looking for partners and they're choosing men who are horrible. They're choosing men who are the most good looking, who are making the most money, so of course have more options and treat women like crap. And then they date the crappy guy. They're like, oh, well, all men suck. All men are trash. I want a man who treats me right. Well, you're not giving the men who treat you right a freaking chance. I wish it wasn't true. I really, really do.
Women have brought us to this point. I'm sorry guys, I had the mic muted still while I was talking. Women have brought us to this point. They can never and will never take responsibility for their actions, and it's only going to get worse from here. It's only going to keep getting worse. I'm telling you. Calvin says, I can see a single man tax coming. Guys, this is what always ends up happening. The tax always comes. The tax always comes.
I wish with all my heart it wasn't true. And are all women like that? Absolutely not. I have so many women in my life who are with incredible men. They did not go after them because of their salary or their looks. But now social media is just perpetuating this, like, well, I have to live this luxury lifestyle and go after these men who make all this money. So, I am kind of happy that we're talking more about a healthy relationship and the things that should be included in that, because I think there's a big difference between standards and preferences. Your preferences are the things like, oh yeah, I would prefer if he's taller. Oh yeah, I'd prefer if he was making more money. But those shouldn't necessarily be your standards. Your standards should be how someone treats you, right? It should be the emotionally available thing, good communication, shared similar values and interests. Those should be what the standards are, right? But a lot of time people will forget their standards just to go after their preferences, which are the most attractive guys who make the most money, who, again, don't treat women that great. So it's not necessarily that, men aren't doing these things. The men you're choosing aren't doing these things. Anyway, back to the point of the video. So I found this article from Morgan Stanley where I found this statistic about 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030. Oh, and this is great for consumerism. This is great for business. Obviously. Media and social focus on gender diversity, the male-female wage gap, and women's role in the workplace has rightly been a key topic in 2019. This is from 2019, by the way. Corporates and investors are paying attention. A recent duo of reports from Morgan Stanley Research approaches this theme from two angles. First, how a growing population of prime working age women in the U.S., many single and focused on career, will have a greater representation in the labor force, help boost wages, and create potentially larger tailwinds in a number of consumer product categories. In a second report, the quantitative equity research team shares a proprietary framework to help investors identify the most gender diverse companies, which tend to be larger, have better stock returns, and skew lower volatility. Combined, the two reports lay out the case that in the coming years, women are positioned to drive the economic conversation from both the inside as a workforce propelling better company performance and outside as consumers powering discretionary spending and GDP. So it says, based on Census Bureau historical data and Morgan Stanley forecasts, 45% of prime working age women ages 25 to 44 will be single by 2030, the largest share in history, up from 41% in 2018. So this was done in 2019. I'm wondering now if it's gone up even more. I tried to find information on it, but I really couldn't, and I didn't want to pull from a source that wasn't that great. So I just stuck with this one. Single women are expected to grow 1.2% annually from 2018 to 2030, compared with 0.8% for the overall U.S. population. What's driving this trend? For starters, more women are delaying marriage, choosing to stay single, or divorcing in their 50s and 60s. Women are also delaying childbirth and having fewer children than in the past. These shifting lifestyle norms are enabling more women, with or without children, to work full-time, which should continue to raise the labor force participation rate among single females. Rising labor force participation rates should put upward pressure on women's wages and help increase overall consumer spending. So in this article, they mentioned delayed marriage, they mentioned people waiting later in life to have kids, divorce. I think a big thing also that wasn't talked about was the fact that, since women are making more money, they want a guy who is either at their level or above. But as they become
It's so crazy because they want a man that's at their level or above. But bro, it's like she makes $36,000 a year, but she needs to date an NBA player. And it's so true. Like she works at McDonald's, but she only dates NBA players. And why is that? Because whatever money she makes is her money to take and to spend on on absolute garbage. Because she can work at McDonald's now and make $40,000, almost $50,000 a year. And she has beta male orbiters that are supplementing her lifestyle So all that money that she makes is for trash. It's to buy clothes. It's to buy toys with. It's just to have fun. It's to go to the spa. It's to live a carefree life with no responsibility because she has orbiters that are buying her meals, paying her rent, taking care of every other aspect of her life. She grew a father who told her that she is special and that she is wonderful and that she is perfect, that she can do everything and anything. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Calvin says, I also see laws slowing down or stopping men from leaving. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. It's coming. It really is coming. Nature Wanderer says, I picture a man with dresses and makeup going to the front. Calvin says, I can see a man tax coming. It coming, and it really is. It really absolutely is. Zetapal says, there's a clip of Rainbow Company. We're watching a decline of Western society, and it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. We're going to just continue to witness as society continues to decline, and women have these unrealistic standards. And many of them are going to find themselves homeless in tent cities, and it's not going to matter. I mean, they're gonna struggle and suffer, but they're gonna keep on believing that they deserve everything, and they're gonna stay on their hill. They really are. They're gonna stay on their hill.
More successful, the amount of men available then decreases if those are the things that they're looking for, which is a lot of women. I think only 22% of women out-earn their husbands at this point in time, which is not that big. I think it will increase a little bit, but I do think that there are women out there who won't date someone who makes less. Or, they have certain preferences and standards for themselves and they won't, stray from that. So you have all these women going after the same group of men, which obviously is going to be a bit of an imbalance there, and the ones who don't end up with the high.
Hey everyone! I hope you're enjoying my content and finding it helpful. If you are, I have a small request. If you could take a moment to donate to me via Cash App or PayPal, it would mean the world to me. The links are in the description of this video. Your donations help me continue to create high-quality content for you and keep this channel running. In addition, I'm now offering 15-minute paid consultations where we can talk one-on-one about anything you'd like. The link to schedule a consultation is also in the description. Thank you so much for your support and for being a part of this community. I appreciate each and every one of you.
People. They're delaying marriage, they're delaying having kids, they're freezing their eggs. Everything's getting pushed back. And we're not all the same. I'm not saying that there's a one-size-fits-all or that it should be this way or it should be that way. But this is what happens when, people are choosing career over family. Choosing career over family for a lot of women means earning more money. And then wanting to be with a man who earns at least what she does or more. And I've often posed this question to you guys of, if women are out earning men, will they still go after men who earn more than them if that group of men is very small? Will women date down in regards to finances, or will they just stay single? I think that the amount of single people will just continue to increase, and it seems like a lot of other people think so too. Unrealistic expectations combined with hypergamy and our biological tendency to go after men who make more money are just going to keep feeding this cycle. And I think it's just going to continue to make the dating market more complicated. So, as much as our society wants to talk about the rise of lonely single men, well, there's also going to be a rise of lonely single women or lonely men, whatever you want to say. If you want to say empowered, if you want to say single, I think some of it will be by choice. There are obviously people out there who like to be single, who want to be single, and more power to you. If you don't want to be with anybody, don't be with anybody. I think some people are better off single, to be honest with you, after taking a look at what's going on. But there are a lot of people who want so badly to have a partner and have a family, but they're not a contender because they're not making 100K or aren't viewed as, you know, a high value man who's making all this money, or just is not making as much as their female counterparts. And therefore the women don't want to date them. Our society is just so focused on salary and money. There are also a ton of statistics about marriages where the woman out earns the husband and they get divorced. The women are less satisfied with their marriage, and the men are less satisfied with their marriage when the woman is earning more money. And I don't know if like the norm is going to change, if we're going to see a big shift, or what's going to happen. But I think for the time being, it's just going to look like single city for a lot of people. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. I think topics like this are really interesting. I like looking at studies and going through them with you and kind of just having a little bit of conversation down in the comments. It's something I enjoy, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. So if you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
I mean, guys, it's crazy. The delusion, the absolute delusion that's coming from so many of these women. I actually like watching Callie Stabs. You know, she's funny, quirky, and she says some interesting things. I don't agree with everything she says, and definitely not with everything that she does. But she says some interesting things. She says some very interesting things. And I think that a lot of guys need to basically start taking the attitude where they need to stop listening to the demands of women.
Sorry, class. I just had to knock some sense into you. You're not lost. You just haven't found the best way to utilize your many talents and serve the world and serve others. But that is your first mistake. Write this down. Get your pen. Your first mistake is focusing on everybody else, but not learning how to, write this down. Number one, serve yourself. I want you to literally go outside after this video and go find tiramisu near you. While you're enjoying this lightly caffeinated snack, I want you to enter, write this down, number two, crackhead mode. You see, caffeine gives you crackhead powers. Crackheads are literally afraid of nothing. They have, one, no fear, and two, no money. You guys have that in common. If your fear is, oh, I don't want to do YouTube yet, I don't have the funds to pull it off, I don't want to start my singing career yet because it's too expensive. Crackheads would do it. Why can't you? I want you to start referring to yourself as insert blank, whatever the career or dream situation is for you. If it is, oh, I want to be a content creator, OMG, I got to start creating content. Why are you saying I want to be a content creator? If you have created a video of some sort, or art, or music, whatever that is, you are already a content creator. You see what I mean? You see how when you say, ooh, I'm gonna start in 6 weeks, next week, I'm gonna start doing this, or I'm gonna start making necklaces, just start. No one's gonna know the difference. If you came up to me right now on the street and you said, I'm a content creator, I'm gonna assume that that's your passion, and that's what you do around the clock. I don't know if you have a side gig as, I don't know, a travel nurse while you're doing this, no one cares. That's what's on the thumbnail of my last video. No one cares. So stop giving us all this extra information. Oh, I'm this now, but I really want to do this. No, be delusional, like a crackhead. Tyrone Bigum's energy. But this class is the most important part. You need to commit to this plan I just gave you for 6 months. 6 months. Oh, but Kelly, I can't do it right now. I got all these bills to pay. That's your problem, not mine. Okay? Delusion, remember? Delulu. As a pop star, these bills are minuscule right now, okay? Oh, but Kelly, I have a car payment. Get rid of the car. Sell the car. Because in those 6 months, you will accomplish so much. Think about it. Do you feel like time is flying by? Ever since 2020, we all have been robbed 2 years of our youth. 2 years. That is disgusting. Disgusting. And honestly, I have a lot of pent up anger about that. Because I also, during that time, was wasting time thinking about time being wasted, thinking about what's the next step for me? What should I do next after YouTube? Like, do you realize how much I could have finally started that podcast I've been talking about? I could have been started that second channel that I have. I could have, I don't know, done so many things, but instead I kept wasting time thinking about wasting time. And I think about it, what did I do in the past 6 hours today, for example? I got up at 7, I stopped being a victim, I went out, I wrote out some ideas. This was one of those ideas, having this video, and I wrote out ideas for this project that I want to do. And I don't know why I didn't do that project before. It's just that it's scary because it requires you to be uncomfortable. So class, write this down. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable for a little bit. Now, many of you don't want to do that. I get it. Trust me, I know. I have lived in the literal trenches with several roommates, straight male roommates, okay? We need to go back to like go back to my old content when I first moved to New York City. I was in the trenches, okay? I had this roommate who was vegan and he was like, can you not cook that when you're around? Can you not use that? Like, I put up with him because I knew I was in survival mode, I had to. Oh, by the way, pause. Do you like this? I got it in Japan for like $14. How cute is this? It's a little butterfly. It reminds
Bro, straight male roommates who are vegan that are like, can you not cook that? I am vegan. Could you, like, bro, that's what a straight, like, guys, Gen Z is so bad. Like, they are so bad. Can you, like, not cook? That's a straight male today. Oh my gosh. All right. What she really didn't want to say is that she was living with a bunch of bitches. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, you need to get your stuff together, a lot of y'all. Those of you that you have your shit together, good. Those of you that don't, get your shit together. If you're Gen Z, I understand. You were born to fail. So, it is what it is. But for everyone else, y'all need to start working on yourself. Get your money up and leave, This, because Western society is a failed society. Everyone should have an option. Every single one of you listening to my videos right now should be traveling somewhere else. Should be able to say that there's somewhere else in this world I've been to, and I can go there and I can survive there. Every single one of you. You should not get complacent in your home country, in Western society, because Western society is a failed society. Okay? I've said this before. You can starve to death in America, and people don't believe it. You can starve to death in America. America is not this wonderful place like everyone characterizes it to be. You can starve to death in America. All right? And a lot of women who've lived these easy lives, they've lived life on easy mode and have never experienced hunger a day in their life. When they feel real and true hunger for the first time, and I'm not talking about not eating for a couple of hours, I'm talking about eating for a couple of days. When they've really experienced that, it will shock them to their very core. And they will believe that somehow some help is going to come. And no help will come. Because they live in a state of continued utter delusion. Let me read this comment from Zetapal. Zetapal says, when I was a teenager, my parents came home from work. I had dinner on the table, tea made, trash taken out, floor vacuumed. Gen Z, on the other hand, Gen Z is waiting to be fed, waiting for their clothes to be washed, waiting to be told what to do, because Gen Z are NPCs. Robert Blando says, I wonder, for decades women have been underwritten. Now that men need help, Do you think women are going to be as accommodating? Absolutely not. We already know the answer to that. Absolutely not. Take the Nature Wanderer says, take the central bank digital currency in combination with a digital ID in exchange for free money from the government. Guys, free money, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Because whatever money you take, when you take the central bank digital currency, they own you. They can freeze your funds at any given moment. The IRS now will seize any money they choose to. It's going to be frightening. They will constantly be going into your bank account and making adjustments to your funds. They don't even need to go into your account because at any given moment, they can freeze those funds, every penny of it, because it's all on their network. Okay? It's all on their network. A bare bank account is kind of exists like a private wallet. And these wallets don't actually store anything. In reality, the government is the one that physically holds these funds, and they can take them. They can take them whenever they choose. So they can freeze them, and they can do whatever they want with them, just like that. And you will have no say in it whatsoever. You will have no freedom. You will be owned. And the only alternative will be crypto. That's it. That will be the only alternative. And you're going to watch as they quickly work to wipe out the dollar, wipe out the physical dollar. They've done it in other countries, and they're going to do it in the US, and they're going to do it in the UK, and they're going to do it in other Western countries. They're going to work to rapidly wipe it out, the physical dollar, because they want to control everything. You will have nothing and you will be happy. Don't forget those words. Don't forget they said that. You will own nothing and you will be happy. That is the dystopic future that we are rapidly running into. We are rapidly heading into that dystopic future. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing lasts forever. Absolutely nothing lasts forever. And people need to wake up and realize that. Because this is the dystopia now. Welcome to the dystopia. There's no one coming to save you. It's just a literal nightmare. Waking up to it each and every single day. And that's it. And it's crazy when women are shocked that companies won't hire them and men don't trust them. And they can go on social media and complain all they want. It won't make a difference because guys are walking away from Western society, Western women, and going overseas and starting new lives. And marrying wives over there. That's really all it is. I'm trying to wake people up. Try to wake people up to let them know what the future really looks like. Anyway, guys, I want to know your thoughts regarding what we discussed here. I want to know what you guys think, because society is on a massive decline and it's only going to get worse. All right. There's no savior coming. All right. Jesus was the last shot. That's really it. Jesus was the last shot, y'all. He was the last shot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.